Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of We Are Legion Live. Tonight with us, we have another promoter with us, Tower Vision Ventures.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, how you doing tonight, man?
Not too bad. Just chilling, doing the normal.
Well, right on. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is
Dan.
Mike. I just started Tower Vision Ventures last month. We went public on October 11th, so we've only been established for a little over a month now, but things are going really well. We're a talent agency based out of St. Louis, Missouri. As of right now, our focus is in music, but we're going to focus on all aspects of entertainment once we get rolling. Um, as of right now, we have artists in St. Louis, Chicago, Columbus, Ohio, Detroit, Brooklyn, New York, and Alberta, Edmonton, or Edmonton, Alberta, whatever order that's supposed to be.
Right on. Uh, ooh, okay, what's up with that? There we go. Had a little sponginess there. Um, so So you've been going for about a month now, and you got artists. It sounds like you get a pretty good base on your artists and stuff. What led you to starting Tower Vision Ventures?
So I started off as a social media manager for a rapper named A Game. He was based out of St. Louis, but now he's out in LA. And as I was growing up, I started throwing shows with him and getting a little bit more responsibilities as things went forward. And after that, I went to school for baseball and stuff like that. So kind of got out of it for a little bit. But once I got back home, I decided that music was going to be something that I wanted to focus in. So I was working with three of the artists that are on the team now, and we were working as rapid fire entertainment. And then I decided to, go legal with it. I'm working with a credit coach and a marketing coach. So I use those aspects and going public with the LLC and stuff to leverage our business credit so we could gain the capital and not really have to come out of pocket for it.
Right on. Okay. Well, tell us about some of your artists that you got going right now.
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on right now. So, Hazy, he's the one out of Alberta. He is working on an EP that's dropping on December 11th. We're finalizing the mix and mastering right now. Tia, which is our girl artist out of Chicago, just got a call back for The Voice. Waiting to see how that goes. Gusto, who is one
Nice.
of our, he's probably the closest one to me. He lives pretty close to me. He's actually about to drop his clothing line at the beginning of 2021, which is going to be really dope. Um, yeah, like everybody's doing something real interactive. Nobody's really slacking off, and like the competitive balance kind of makes everybody, stay on top of things.
Yeah. Uh, well, it's good everybody's keeping busy, especially during this time with COVID and everything going on. And I mean, I'm on the other side of the state from you. I'm actually right across the line into Kansas, but I'm in Kansas City, and I, but I did see that they put in some more COVID measures that are supposed to go into like March.
Yeah, St. Louis County is pretty strict, but I live in St. Charles
And
County.
we're
It's like
hoping that these
how to get.
vaccines work so we can get out there and do live shows and stuff.
Yeah, it's
We,
interesting how they're pushing
um,
vaccines to you know, say you have to get a vaccine or get a test before you come in a venue and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting how that all plays out.
yeah, I was reading yesterday. Ticketmaster is not even going to sell you tickets until you can prove that you've had a vaccine. I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's just crazy.
yeah, I don't know how they're going to be able to do that, but I mean, we're kind of playing the whole wait and see game as we go along because nobody's
Yeah,
before.
yeah, and yeah, that's just completely just crazy to think that. I mean, Uh, but yeah. So I know you're just starting. What are you looking? What is your business plan? What is your vision for your company?
So
You want
the
to
goal
cover every aspect, like acting and music and everything?
So the end goal of what I want to do with the website is going to be a mix between like old MTV and Patreon. So like the front homepage will be like a live programming network for like independent content creators. So they might not necessarily be on the team, but they may be partnered or whatever it might be, and it'll be a place to where actors and script writers can get their show in motion instead of just sending scripts out and stuff like that. So it'll be like music video shows, reality TV, podcasts, whatever's current. And on the
Hey,
back,
well, if you need a podcast,
no, uh, I'm looking at all aspects of things. Different time slots. You know, the big thing with what I'm trying to do is to create something that is away from the big corporations and stuff like that, and give everybody a chance to make the money that they're supposed to make. Um, and with on the backside of things, anybody that's either on the team or partnered with us will have the ability to have their own profile to where they have private streams for their fans, whether it's a Q&A or they're doing some kind of business lesson on the music industry or the acting stuff or being an A&R or whatever it might be. All stuff that's either interactive for the fans or educational, so that they get something from it.
and I'm a big fan of Patron. I follow a couple artists on there, and just to be able to get some of that bonus stuff where that other fans and stuff don't get, where uh, like one of them has certain levels that depending on how much you subscribe to per month, you get different things, and some of them are like private messages once a month you get from them and things like that, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, I'm really down with that. Anybody who hasn't checked out Patron yet or something like that, definitely give it a shot. I'm surprised more artists haven't been doing it during uh, the pandemic.
It comes down to the marketing teams.
Yeah.
A lot of the schemes that they're using are dated, and they got people that have been in positions of power for 10 plus years, and they're not up to date with how social media works and how technology moves and how quickly you got to stay in tune with things. So I think over the next 3 to 5 years, um, the younger age group is going to start taking more ownership and their own rights. You know, publishing deals, licensing, sync deals. There's just a lot of stuff that people in my age group aren't familiar with because they hold it up at the top with all the information. And now that they're starting to cycle out, you're starting to see people like Kanye speaking out about how that works, and Joe Budden's big issue with Spotify. So as these things continue to trickle out, you'll start seeing people align with different things, and I think the era of the independent is right on the cusp.
Yeah. Uh, and as much as I hate to say it, I think the pandemic really helped push that issue for the independents because they're become more active on the social media and stuff like that. And that's just how people consume music nowadays. It's gone are the days where people are going out and buying just a CD. They want to see fresh content online, whether on social platforms, regardless of the social platform. I mean, if you're not constantly dropping new stuff out there for people, they're going to lose interest in you, and they're not going to stream your stuff as much as they would if you're dropping, even if it's just some silly video on TikTok. As long as you're dropping fresh stuff out there, keeping your name out there, people are going to start streaming your music more often, and even though you're not going to make huge bucks uh, through the streams by themselves, especially through the sites that they got now, but still, that's the main way they're going to consume your music is through there, and maybe they'll hit you up on your website and buy some merch and things like that.
Basically,
Uh,
the two major things that I tell anybody that I'm working with is they got to connect with you as a person. If they like you as a person, they're more than likely going to spend money with you. If you leave it up to them being a fan, it's a 50-50 chance if they like the song or not. if they like you as a person, they may not like that every song you drop, but because they like, you know, your vibe or the type of person that you are and how you carry yourself, that's what translates into sales. And then another thing, like in all reality, like we're dealing with computer algorithms. So like it's not only the fact that we have to deal with constant content to keep the fans happy, but we're not getting in search engines unless we are posting at certain times and making sure we stay in rhythm with all that kind of stuff. And it's constantly changing. So um, you're kind of seeing who's got a smart team and who doesn't now. And
Yeah,
all of
all,
and
yeah, it's
stuff
pretty
like
much
that.
all about
Now,
the analytics.
yep,
Uh,
you gotta be creative, and you know how I look at it is trying to keep the snowball rolling down the hill. If you keep it going down the hill and it continually builds, it doesn't matter how small it is, as long as it's building and it's consistent, you're gonna get down there and it's gonna pick up steam. And once you get down to the bottom, you know you got to do it again. You got to go back to the top and recreate the same thing and
yeah,
package it a different way. And you know, some artists, you know, they're great for that one album, but how can you create this 5 or 10% of your life and create that to be generational wealth for not only you but your grandkids and really set up a future for your family?
yeah, and you mentioned something in there that with the algorithms is you really got to know your time frames too, because you can have two like equal posts, basically the same content, drop them at different times and have completely different results. You got to know when your target market's there, when you have their best results and stuff. That's why uh, it pays to have a team or at least yourself tracking your own analytics on those sites, because if you don't know when the best time is to drop your stuff, then you're really losing out on.
And what's crazy is the data's there for you to go look at. You can get easy
Yeah,
to it, but people are lazy. They think, oh, if I just have good music, it's gonna pop. No, there is so many other reasons people
yeah,
pop. And it used to be stream farms, and then it was label backing and all this other stuff. Now it's like really based on how can you know recon like continue to create quality content at a rate that has never been done before. And you're seeing people, whether it's fizzling out or getting sick of the industry, whatever it might be, and it's creating more opportunities for the people that actually are good at music, which I think is a good thing for the whole landscape of things, because these flash in the pan artists aren't able to do what they're used to do based on being closed quarters. They can't go outside and act stupid and go to the concert and say some stupid shit so it goes viral, and pop a bunch of pills on a podcast so they can get a bunch of retweets. And I think that's a good thing for the culture.
yeah, absolutely. And the more that they you can get artists to embrace that is the more it's just going to help them out in the long run. And um, so, what do you look for when you're looking for artists? Do you do like all genres, or you just basically stick with hip hop?
Good music's good music. I don't necessarily like certain genres of music, but like you can hear something and know, oh, that'll work in that lane. And not only that, but can you create different revenue streams? Are you creative enough to, have a side hustle with, maybe you mix and master, or you do songwriting, or you got a cool merch line, do makeup. Like you have to create multiple revenue streams. That way you constantly have money coming in, and it just keeps that circle going. All right, you drop an album. All right, then you drop merch, you make the profits, and you just keep reinvesting and reinvesting. Because especially with us being close quarters like this, you know, what do we really have money to spend on? Like this should be when you're stockpiling, learning how to learn a stock market, learn real estate. Like there's so many other ways to
Yeah,
make
and
money and be consistent with it. And that's something I really focus on with my artists, is trying to teach them the other ways to make money, because at the end of the day, like this music stuff's great, but not everybody, like if you look at the history, like there's not many Jay-Z's. There's not many people that can consistently
yeah,
reinvent themselves. So if that's the case, like you're looking at a 3 to 5 year span at best for most people. So you're trying to take that little part of your life and make it stretch the rest of your life off, your name, your notoriety. So you got to learn how to repackage yourself and continue to build as a person. And like, there's just so many more that I try to focus on because I'm trying to develop the person. Um, with what I'm doing, I'm trying to develop all my artists to own their own business, to scale towards something else other than music. That way they have multiple revenue streams and just continue the cycle.
Yeah, that's definitely sound business advice right there. Uh, because, like you said, it's kind of like a professional athlete. You only have a certain window that you're at the top of your game, and then you start kind of fading away. And if you don't take full advantage of that window, then you're wasting future revenue uh, because you don't have the brand built to
Mm-hmm.
push it past whenever you stop making music into something else.
And to speak on the sports topic there, not a lot of stars are able to not be the star anymore. You don't see many people turn into Vince Carter and reinvent themselves and become from a high flying dunker to now he's shooting threes and he's top five ever in threes made. Um, Dwayne Wade, as soon as he wasn't a 20-point scorer, he was out. Legendary player,
Yeah,
but somebody that wanted to be a role player, and that's fine. He understood what he wanted to be, and if you are okay with that, that's fine. But not everybody's okay with that. So, you know, when I'm talking to these artists, like I'm trying to talk to them as a person, like, hey, how are you feeling? What's on your mind? How can we make that better? Because if they're not in a good state mentally, they're not going to be able to perform, whether it's music, their art craft, whatever it might be. If they're not good mentally, then they're not going to perform at their best. So as a manager, I played baseball growing up, so I know what it's like to have 25 guys on a team, and that manager have to treat everybody a little bit different, but try to get to the same goal. And I kind of try to use that influence that I've learned from playing sports as what I do with my team, because sometimes people are going to need a kick in the ass. Sometimes, they're going to need to be coddled, and it is what it is. Everybody's different. Every day's different, and with all the mental health stuff that's going on, and all the different stuff that makes our hormones and chemicals in our brain the way they are, like um, you got to play that into consideration, because if you don't, you you could burn out a great artist because they had a bad week and all of a sudden it snowballs on them because they say something wrong on Twitter. So since there's so much access to these people, you have to treat it as such and really be a monitor more than anything, because if you see something acting up, you need to catch it before that breakdown happens.
absolutely. Um, so, are you continually looking to expand right now, or you kind of just want to stay with what you got right now, work on that for a bit, and then gradually grow, or you just want let's add some more artists or whatnot? And
I would say if it makes sense, I'm with it. Like with what I'm doing with my business credit, like I'm gonna have the capital to maneuver freely. That doesn't mean I'll be jumping at stuff. Like at first, like most of my purchases will be stuff I can get residuals from. I'll be purchasing a high quality T-shirt press. I'll be investing in a studio. I'll be putting money away in stocks with dividends. Like, I'll be creating those revenue streams. So I'm not just preaching it; I'm practicing it, so people can see what's going on. And then having the flexibility to jump at something if the offer's right, then yeah, anything that makes dollars makes sense. So I'm open to anything. As of right now, I'm not saying I'm looking, but if something comes across my plate that makes sense, I'm not going to be no. Like it's all about being opportunistic, because if you don't have the flexibility to jump on things when it comes across your plate, you may not get that same price or that same meeting or whatever it might be. So being open to everybody, giving everybody a chance to show what they're capable of, and not looking at follower count or looking at where they are now, but looking at where they can be if they get the right tutelage or in the right setting and whatnot. So I take everything by case basis.
yeah, so if someone was looking to hire you, uh, Do you just take open submittals from artists, or
Yeah, I mean, how I do it is every third night I stay up all night so we can get in the international search engines. I'm very creative on how we do things, and I do a lot of things by pen and paper. I'm not using bots and doing all this crazy stuff, really going in there and I'm trying to learn the algorithms. I'm trying to learn when things can go down. And sorry, um,
it's
I'm
okay.
trying hands on and trying to learn this stuff myself. That way, when I'm talking to these people, I know from firsthand experience this is how it works for your market. This is what we need to do. I've looked at your fan base, and this is when they interact with you the most. So this is why we're doing this. I'm not going to tell people what we're doing. I'm going to try to explain why. And it's not my job to micromanage. My job is to make the product the best I possibly can based on what they want to do. I'll have input, I'll have suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's their art. And if it doesn't work, then they'll come to me and say, all right, if this didn't work, then I'll explain, hey, this is maybe why it didn't work. Let's try it this way this time. Instead of trying to like laugh at somebody and look down on them, because at the end of the day, like I said, they're the artists. So if I'm sitting here telling them how to produce music or, how to tweet or how to do this, that doesn't work. I need to show them why, how, and all that kind of stuff, because learning is that's the key to everything, because I want them to have the knowledge to be able to take what I teach them and use it themselves. That way, they don't need me. They can still always have access to me, but they don't need me for anything, because if something were to happen to me, I want them to be capable of handling.
Yeah, and you brought up a point, letting the artists be themselves. That was one of the biggest things that I found, from an independent artist going to signing a record deal or something, is because they went from making their music to going to someone telling them how to make their music.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get, it's just not the same to them because it's something that's been contorted and no longer their music anymore. It's a version of someone else. It's their music that they wrote, but it's someone else's version of it,
Right.
and it's just not the same. And so they kind of get down and out about that. I mean, sure, the money's great and stuff for them like that, but then it's no longer their art, and it causes a little bit of depression and stuff. And I can understand that. I mean, if you worked hard on something and you wanted to do music, do it your way, you know.
Yeah, that's, I mean, if I'm working with an artist, it's because I see potential in what they're doing. It's not like,
Uh,
oh, I'm
I'm
better doing.
sure everybody has.
So like at the end of the day, like this is collaborative effort. Like we have to work together. If it's one way pulling harder than the other, then nothing's going to get done. It has to be an open line of communication. You know, there's going to be failures. Instead of trying to look at it as a failure, let's learn from it so we don't do it again. Um, you know, if you're smart, you know you'll try not to fail. But if you're really smart, you'll watch other people fail and figure out why they failed. Because trying to take learning lessons from stuff is huge. That's where you really win, because now you avoid that loss. So you can learn a lot more from watching people struggle and try to navigate that way, rather than seeing somebody always win. Because we saw the Patriots go 17, 18 and 0, and then they get in a tight game with the Giants, and Eli Manning beats them because they didn't know how to handle pressure. Being the top dog's not for everybody. Not everybody's LeBron James and can run with it, or they can't be Drake, or they can't be Chris Brown and whatever it might be. Not everybody's the top dog. But then you see guys last long in the league because they understand their role and they become a team player, and that's huge. You can be a 15-year vet. You don't have to be the star player, but you can still get paid. You're still on the roster. You're still getting things done, and that's the key to it, because um, making this last as long as you possibly can, because this is everybody's dream to be in this field. So um, just trying to make that last as long as possible is the goal, and having the understanding that it might not work out is like the greatest part about it, because you can learn how to develop you as a person. Not everything's going to go your way, so how can you make the best of it? How can you change this down period into a much greater thing that you couldn't even think you were capable of.
Um, what part of St. Louis are you in?
I live out in Winsville, which is like 40 minutes outside of the city. I'm in St. Charles.
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. You're right there, right off 70 going
Yeah,
into.
I'm right by the Interstate 64 and 70.
Well, yeah, I know exactly where I go. You're like halfway in between Columbia and St. Louis, like
Okay.
sort of, yeah. And yeah, I pass Wentzville all the time, taking 70 in. Uh, so do you have? I know you got your artists are in like New York and Canada. Do they ever get together in St. Louis? Or are you planning on having like a little, some kind of festival or stuff to showcase the artists?
I'm actually working on something for New Year's. It looks like everybody's going to be stuck inside, so I'm going to try to do something creative to brighten everybody's spirits a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not confirmed yet, but
I got you. Yeah.
I'm definitely trying to work on something to, lighten the mood. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the election. Whatever way you side, it's been tiring.
Mm,
Like it's so divided. It's he said, she said, and oh,
yeah. It's
and it's like, all right, well, it's time to be humans again. Let's try to enjoy some stuff.
yeah. It was
Politics.
definitely not what we needed after 6 months of being locked up and stuff from COVID and stuff. Everybody's mental health was already
Yep.
going down, and this is definitely not what we needed at this time.
But like we were
But
saying, got to make the most of it because at the end of the day, like we still got to wake up and pay bills tomorrow. So we just got to make the most of it and just try to get through it because you know, like I said, sun's gonna come up tomorrow. So
yeah,
somebody's got to do it.
yeah, and talking to some of the other artists that I've had on the show, and some of them not liking doing the live streams and stuff like that with the smaller audiences, and they want to get back and playing the bigger venues, which is totally understandable. But I've been trying to tell them, hey man, why don't you, while you have those smaller audiences, why don't you try something that you normally wouldn't do during a big show? See if it works. If you can get it to work on 10, 15 people, then yeah, it's going to work on your bigger audience. If you bomb it for 10 or 15 people, throw it out the window, try something new. Take advantage of these situations and try to better yourself.
Yeah, like when you think about it, like if these people are stuck inside and they're choosing to spend their time looking at this computer screen to look
Mm-hmm.
for entertainment, these people really genuinely like you, which means those are probably your
Mm-hmm.
most real fans. And you're never going to get, maybe you only have 150 people in that stream. You have your most 150 loyal fans across the world in one place at one time. So take advantage of that. Make them feel
Yeah.
special. Make them feel a
Yep.
part of. They're taking out the time out of their day to try to bond with you and connect with you. So you're never going to get a more intimate moment as an artist. So you just got to look at it from different perspectives. Like yes, it sucks that you have to stand in front of this camera and dance and sing and whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, whoever's on the other end watching you, you're making their day. There's a lot of people that are going through a lot of stuff at home. So like take pride in that because whether it's 5 people, 500 people, 5,000 people, it doesn't matter what it is. You can change somebody's life that day. You never know what somebody's going through, and if they're logging in to watch you do whatever you're doing, make the most of it.
And yeah, even though they're not going out to a show or anything, you're still there, escape from reality for that little bit of time, because they've tuned in, they've tuned out everything else just to watch that live stream. And I believe if it wasn't for that, I mean, we'd have a lot worse mental health issues right now than it's bad, but it would be a lot worse without the live streams and things like that, where people could see their favorite artist and actually get to connect with them on a personal level that
Mhm.
they wouldn't normally get going to a show.
Exactly. Like the meet and greets are cool, but like you're paying 50 to $100 to go get a handshake and a picture. They don't
Yeah,
remember you. I mean, some of them do, but like at the end of the day, like they're doing it because they're not getting enough money from either the promoter or the DSPs. They're doing that for a reason. They're not doing it just because they want to deal with the fans. 9 times out of 10,
Yeah,
there's good artists out there. I'm not saying there's not, but at the end of the day, it's a money grab. There's no way they have the time during that little hour or 2 hour span to really connect with anybody. So instead of that, now they're doing live streams where you can chat back and they can respond and you can feel like they actually heard you, and that
yeah,
can mean the world for somebody.
yeah, and even I've some of the best ones that I've done are been on like Zoom shows where they have all their fans up on the screen, and then they can unmute them and they can ask questions, and then they see the face, and then they remember you the next time. If you go do another show, they remember you by name, and that makes the experience even that more enjoyable. And uh, it's a changing world. I mean, we'll eventually get back to doing live shows and stuff, but I don't think we'll ever completely get rid of doing the small intimate ones on online and
Yeah,
stuff like
I think artists are realizing that you know they got to maximize their revenue. So you have to do stuff that you may not either be comfortable with or may not even like. But at the end of the day, like it's safer to do stuff like this. You're not having a bunch of drunk 18-year-olds in a mosh pit doing stupid stuff and doing a bunch of drugs and passing out in the crowd.
yeah,
Growing up, like that's a real life thing, and a lot of these younger artists. This new wave of artists is very dependent on prescription drugs and like that. So they don't know the after effects of what that's going to do to them long term. And you're seeing a lot of great artists die of stupid decisions with drugs. Um, and it's sad because most of these people would be superstars, legendary, if they would have just,
no,
you know,
yeah,
Eve. It's not even stupid. It's not just them. It's the team around them allowing it to happen because that's their extra revenue. They're selling drugs or um, whatever it might be. They got to do that because either these labels aren't doing their end and they got them in bad deals, or they can't escape the lifestyle that they grew up in. There's so many different factors on why it happens, and it doesn't matter why it happens. We just got to stop it from happening. And what it comes down to is education. If they know what type of deals to look out for, and different type of leech mentalities that are trying to just suck off you and get as much as they can from you, but at the end of the day, don't provide anything. And if you're in a relationship that's not mutually beneficial, especially in this industry, like there's no time for it. Obviously, like yeah, there's pretty girls, and you're gonna have your one night stands and have fun and do all that kind of stuff. But you know, you can't let that kind of stuff impact you, and that can't become what you need to be because those people aren't doing anything for you. You're doing all this other stuff for all these fans and all your team and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you are the commodity, so you have to take care of that.
yeah. I mean, a toxic relationship's a toxic relationship, whether it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whether it's a business relationship. If it's not mutually beneficial, then it's time to walk away from that and find one that is more mutually beneficial.
And honestly, you see a lot more backstabbing from guy on guy or girl on girl because you think they're your friend and you grew up with them, and they take advantage of that because you think, oh, they would never do that to me. And those are the people that they see that that's a weakness for you because you can't see it. You're in their blind spot in their mirror, so they're going to take advantage of that because they know they can. And that's just the nature of where we are as a community. Like that's kind of what is seen on TV, and what's force fed to us. So there's culture vultures. There's just there's bad people out here, and if you don't navigate correctly and you don't watch out for certain signs, you will definitely lose some stuff in a crossfire. Like you just overlook it because you got so much other stuff going on, and you got so much money flowing, and you got so many shows, and all of a sudden it gets all taken away from one bad decision. One person brings a gun on the tour bus and you get pulled over, or you're flying in a plane that's got a bunch of drugs in it, and then you get scared and pop pills and you die. Like there's just so many situations where you're seeing very talented and generational talents, like people that will not be able to ever come back, and they're gone from just not surrounding themselves with good people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just even going back, and that's been going on for decades. I mean, like, I mean, you look at like Hendrix, what he could have became if he would have not, if he would have had someone there to keep him from drinking and popping all the pills, or Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, if he would have had people around that kept him off the heroin and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, the list goes on, and it doesn't
yeah,
it doesn't pick color, creed, religion. It doesn't matter. If you have an issue,
yeah,
you have an issue. And what sucks about it is most of these people that do have these problems have such emotional music that you bond with, and that stems, that creates more reliance on it because they need the drugs to create that moment and create that feeling, so they can portray the same image that that
yeah.
person song felt like that. So it's just an ongoing cycle, and we don't take care of the people that are talented and um, you know can actually make an impact on a lot of people's lives, then we're going to keep losing them, and it's going to keep spot control.
Because as sad as it is to say that sometimes uh, the that emotion that they're putting in the songs actually becomes their drug, and they need other drugs to get to that emotion, like you were saying, and because they find one that really resonates with the audience, and then they want to repeat that. It's kind of, I'd say it's kind of like a heroin in that case, where you get high the first time, and then you keep chasing that same high again, but you never quite get to that same high.
Yeah, I think
And
fame is one of the worst drugs there are. Like, and if you can be famous, but
mhm,
if the drug fame is something that you're craving, like, oh, I need more attention, I need more satisfaction, I need more people coming to me telling me I'm great. And if I don't get that, then automatically I don't feel good about myself. And
absolutely,
put themselves on such high pedestals because of whether it's their follower count or their stream count or how many fans they have at a show, whatever it might be that gets them off. As soon as they lose that, you see the negative effects of it.
right on. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer tonight. I know it's getting kind of late. But is there anything else that you would like to put out uh, to the audience here and get out on there before we drop off?
Well, I want to start with, thank you for taking me on. I really appreciate the call. We're a new company and stuff like that. So anytime that I get to talk about the company and all the stuff that we have going on with our artists and, where we're headed as a company, it's a great opportunity for me. Appreciate it. I'll end with, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Tower2_Vision. We have a lot of dope stuff coming out. We have a project coming out on December 11th for Hazy. We have a compilation tape coming out for Christmas, which will be a bunch of different artists from our team, as well as some mainstream artists. We have Valet, who signed to Good Music. We have Payroll Giovanni. We have Big Baby Gucci for artists confirmed. And then for producers, we have Chop Squad DJ, Chase the Money, Jaded, Rio Mac, and Fish. So the combination of those mainstream artists plus our roster, I think, will give us enough notoriety to where somebody else is going to fall in love with one of our artists. And it's kind of the manipulation game you have to play as an underground artist, trying to use these features and different placements to then gain the audience. And I think what I'm building and what these artists have to show, I think it speaks for itself. So I'm really excited to where we're headed, and 2021 is going to be a great year.
Absolutely. Love to hear that. Anytime that you want to come back on the show, just go ahead and DM me. You know how to get a hold. If you got an artist that was getting ready to drop some stuff and they want to come on the show, just let me know, and I'll make some time for them, and we'll get them on the show. And especially if they got, like I said, going to drop some new music or something, and we'll get it out there for everybody. Get them a little bit of exposure before they drop. We've actually had a couple of world premiere songs done performed on the show, which was pretty cool. And we just keep getting bigger and bigger. And I'll also start tagging you in some of my daily threads for on Twitter.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm
so,
on Twitter's like my main thing that I learned from social media networking. That's where I started off. I've always been somebody that's been good on Twitter, and I've always kind of learned, whether it's the algorithms or how it was back in the day. It's
mhm.
good. So like the follower count that we've gotten so far, I think we hit 800 today, which is pretty good within 6 weeks of the account being made. So
Absolutely, yeah,
we just got to keep. We can't get complacent. We got to keep working.
yeah,
And
and
get satisfied.
yeah, yeah. I'll get you guys in there on tagged on my daily threads, and we'll drop some. I'll drop you guys down on and some of my follow lists that I dropped during the week too, uh, because I just went over for in a year and just over a year since I've started this new Twitter and started doing this promoting, and we're just about ready to hit 16K. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah,
And
congrats on that. I
uh,
out for no reason. Like I saw the platform you're building, and since you're a home state guy, like always got to support.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I definitely want to make my way, especially once all this lockdowns and stuff are over. I want to make my way over to St. Louis, and I got quite a few artists in Nashville and stuff that, and just make the loop, you know.
Yep,
But
I'm working on something that if COVID allows, we'll be on the move. I don't necessarily know which artists will be on the move. I kind of base everything on current situations. We just had a song pop on a big playlist last night that I had no idea that was going to happen. It just happened. So
nice.
this we were talking about, this shit moves fast. So staying on top of it and trying to stay current is the biggest thing. And when opportunities arise, we got to jump on them.
Absolutely. And anything I can do to help you all out, just let me know. Hit me up in the DM, and we'll get it worked out. I'll make time. Right now, I got a day job that I do. Besides this, I'm hoping sometime in 2021 that the day job can go away and I can start doing this full time. Uh,
That's the goal, man. Like, there's plenty of.
yeah,
It's just all about marketing it right and building the brand because
yeah.
that's the key to it.
And yeah, I think I've done a fairly decent job of building the brand up this first year. I haven't worried about doing anything but building the brand across multiple platforms. So hopefully summer, no later than fall, then I'll be able to start doing this stuff full time. And because I know there's so much more I can do for independent artists and things like that that I have been doing, but I'll be able to do a lot more of. And but uh, yeah, so uh, just let me know if you need something, your artist needs something. Just let me know, and we'll get it taken care of.
All right, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. This is a great platform. So anybody that wants to reach out, this is a great opportunity to not only they have to like you as a person before they invest in you, as an artist.
All right on. All right. Well, you have a good evening, and yeah, just hit me up in the DMs anytime, man.
All right, man. Not a problem.
Just yeah, you want to talk algorithms or whatnot on specific platforms? Yeah, we can talk that and anything you need. But you have a good night, and we'll talk to you later, man.
All right, man. I appreciate everything.
Mhm. All right. I see your hula hula comment, Boston. We're still quite a ways away from the hula hula. Actually, I don't think the Twitter's going to be that problem. Yeah, he is a. See, this is the first time I talked to him face to face, and yeah, he seems like a pretty good dude. And he's not that far away in St. Louis, uh, so I'll give you guys an update on where y'all at. We still need, no, well, not that many. We only need 318 Instagram followers, and this is gonna be the hard one. We need 773 YouTube followers. I'm not even worried about the 4,000 Twitter followers because those are going to just come with a quickness. So this is the platform that I'm actually really glad to see. This is probably the biggest chat we've had in a minute on here. Sammy abandoned me. Boston abandoned me. Everybody goes quiet now. And I don't know exactly what was going on with the video because my internet is showing full. So I don't know why the video was going in and out in the sound. And what are you laughing about? Oh, don't go. Psst, you didn't abandon me. You were gone for like 2 weeks, Boston. Sammy, don't be geez Boston either because you were out of here also. The middle finger mojo. Uh, yeah, I probably deserve that, but that's all right. You guys have actually missed some really great shows, and they're even going to be better now that I figure out how to get rid of that echo. Headphones. You know I always put you on blast, Boston. That's what I do. Yeah, you must have been really deep lurking, Sammy, because I didn't see a comment one from you. If it wasn't for White Wolf and Pinky, I probably wouldn't even had a comment section a couple times. Well, the echo was coming through. I guess the speakers on this are right next to the mic. So as they were talking, my mic would pick up my speakers, and so the headphones takes away the speakers, so they can it doesn't echo back through the mic. Actually, need to work a little bit more on my soundboard, and I'll get rid of the mic on the computer as well, and get to the real microphone.